Hello and welcome back to another episode of Digital Road Trip. Welcome, my name is Wizzy, so you can also call me Wizzy, and today, of course, well, I say of course, but today we are heading towards a new destination, because as what you're looking at right now, well, on the minimap, it shows it's a TIAA bank field, but this was captured in March 2015, back when it was called, I guess, Everett Bank Field, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars for the NFL. So this was our previous destination, and that means that now we are going to be heading towards a new destination in this episode. Although we're not going to get to the destination in this episode, it's just we are going to start heading towards it this episode. So as we start moving here, there's a few things I want to mention. First, the destination that we are going to be heading towards is Key West. I think what I want to do is the very end of Route 1. Maybe? I don't know. I'm going to have to look for a section in Key West where I want to have us end. But as of right now, Key West is going to be our destination. But this is also going to be the first time where we're going to have a destination via another location. So we are going to be heading towards Key West, Florida. I mean, we're in Florida right now, but Key West via Orlando/Disney World. So we're going to start heading towards Disney World on our way to Key West. But yeah. Anyways, also, some other things I do want to mention is, first of all, I am currently live streaming this on Twitch. So if you want to, I typically do the live streams for this series, the Digital Road Trip and Friday Night Gaming, got all kinds of stadiums and arenas over here. I typically do the live streams on Twitch for the Digital Road Trip and Friday Night Gaming at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays. So if you want to check, or if you want to catch a live stream, I will be providing a link in the description below. And then also I do stream on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time as well for my GeoGuessr series, both the GeoGuessr Custom Challenge and the GeoGuessr Speedrun. So if you want to check that out, like I said, link to my Twitch can be found in the description below for those of you watching on YouTube. For those of you watching on Twitch, they should already be in the chat. Actually, no. I mean, what are you doing? What am I saying? If you're on Twitch, you already know my link, or where to go. So, I mean, that was kind of silly. I don't know why I said it like that, but whatever. Also, I will be providing a link to my Discord in the description below. Oh, and we did actually come out onto US 1, which is perfect, because I want to follow US 1. This is 1 South, right? Well, actually, let's continue on and we'll find out. This is 17 as well, so 1... No, this is not 1. I thought I saw 1. No, this is 17. Unless I passed 1 back there, but I don't think so. Or maybe I did. You know what, we're gonna go back. Now, one more thing I do want to mention, however, is on Sunday, this coming Sunday. Yeah, one right here, okay. This coming Sunday will be the last day that you can do the survey for my Sports Sunday series. I've extended it one more week, which, like I said, goes to this Sunday. As of right now, as of this live stream, I only have one response for the survey. I want to try and get to 5 at least. But as of right now, it's seeming more and more like that's not going to happen. But if we could get it to happen, that would be absolutely fantastic, because the following Sunday, I want to start the series for Esports Sunday. Like I said, I would absolutely love to try and have at least 5 responses before then. So if you could do so, like I said, link for that is going to be in the description as well. It should only take you about a minute or so, minute or two to complete. But that would definitely help if you could. And I guess that's just about everything I want to mention, so yeah. Actually, yeah, that's one thing I do want to try and go. Oh, we're on to... Are we on? We're not going on to 95, are we? It kind of looks like we are. Okay, one gets off the next exit, which is right here. So I'm going to allow it just for now. Typically, I will not allow us to go on to the interstate, because that is a rule that I have. But it is literally this exit right here, off to the right. See, now we are actually off the interstate, so... Because I want to follow one, but unfortunately, like I said, it did hop onto the interstate, but we were on there for like literally not even a minute, I don't think. I mean, I probably could have gotten a way to follow it without getting on, but whatever. It's all said and done. Yeah, no, this isn't GeoGuessr. And welcome, by the way. No, I didn't do any GeoGuessr live stream yesterday. Well, first, I didn't have any custom challenges to play. And second, well, I did actually record earlier today the Speedrun Saturday, so that will be going up on my channel on Saturday. But no, we're in Jacksonville, Florida right now, where we left. I don't know if you were here when we got to Jacksonville in last week's live stream, but we made it to this home of the Jacksonville Panthers NFL team. Custom challenge you submitted. I didn't see any custom challenge on Discord. I'll take a look after the live stream. Okay, well, I'll take a look after the live stream, see if I can find it. But that'll probably be the next one I do, because as of right now, I'm all caught up for the submissions. Oh, you submitted it late yesterday, so yeah. No, I'll definitely add it. That'll be the next one I'll do. So one thing I do want to do, I know I mentioned, Route 1 goes in through Daytona. So one thing I do want to do as well for this, I don't know if we'll get into Daytona this episode, probably not. Well, if we could, that'd be cool. We could end it right at the International Speedway. I think Route 1 goes pretty close to the speedway there. If not right by it. See, I'm just gonna take a look at the map on my phone. Just see how far Daytona is from Jacksonville. Oh yeah, no, that's a distance. Because last episode we started in Brunswick, went to Jacksonville, and that same distance will bring us probably about to Palm Coast, a little bit past St. Augustine. So probably in the next episode or next live stream, we will be going by Daytona, or going through Daytona rather. In fact, I'm gonna look at the map too, see if Route 1 goes right next to the track. Daytona Beach, it does not. But that is fine. I'm gonna make it so we will be going by the track. There's actually another US route that goes by there, so I'll probably take that. I know I'm not supposed to plan out my route to get to our destination, but that route might tell us to go towards Orlando as well. But for now, this episode we're going to be just following Route 1 basically. Which I suppose isn't, well, I mean, this series probably isn't like exciting anyways to begin with. So it probably doesn't really matter either way, but I was gonna say that almost looks like a go-kart track over there, but no, I guess that's like a bus station, like a transit station or whatever. Daytona Beach is 84. St. Augustine is 30 miles. Currently, like I said, following Route 1. We're still technically in Jacksonville. Now we've been streaming for, well, I mean actually I shouldn't say streaming. We've been recording this for probably about, what, 10-15 minutes? Let's take a look. Yeah, just about 14 minutes. So we still got about 26 minutes, no, 26 minutes, 16 minutes or so to go for this episode. That was weird. That looks like it was like really wide, but I think it was just the way the camera was. It kind of like bulged it. It looked like it was bulging out. For these utility poles. I'd call them telephone poles, but I don't know if they're technically telephone poles. Because I would consider... Oh, actually, no, that's not even... Do they even have... Oh, yeah, back there. Like that, I would consider a telephone pole because it's, like, wooden, but... I mean... I don't know. If any of you live in Florida, would you consider these telephone poles or just utility poles? Or power poles or whatever. Because it seems like you use more of these concrete ones, more than like actual wooden poles. which I suppose makes sense, like during hurricane season and stuff like that. So they don't constantly snap or anything under the intense winds. Or you don't have like trees or whatever bringing them down. Well, I mean, I'm sure you have trees bringing down the wires and stuff still, but... Shad Road. Interesting. So this is also US 5, or not US 5, Florida State Route 5. It's US 1 and State Route 5. What is this? A movie theater? Yeah, it is a movie theater. Not wicked big, probably what, like 2, maybe 4 screens. In fact, that's one thing I did this past weekend. I can now officially say I've seen the original Ghostbusters in theaters. Make it back onto the right side. Not on the ramp. There we go. Yeah, I've officially seen the original Ghostbusters in theaters, which is kind of funny because, I mean, of course, there's no new movies coming out right now, so they're doing reruns and stuff. But I went and saw Ghostbusters this past weekend, and I tell you what, the CGI in that film, I mean, to be fair, CGI was pretty primitive back then too. This was like the mid-80s when this came out, so I mean that came out before me. But yeah. Oh, anyways, one thing I did do since the last episode or last live stream is I did do a spreadsheet, or make a spreadsheet for stats for this series. So I'm going to bring it up on my other screen, and I'm just going to mention a few of the stats. So I have, for each episode, I have the distance that I took for each episode, the time it took for that to go that distance for each episode, and then I have a combined or a cumulative distance and time to give me an average speed for the episode and an average speed for or cumulative average speed. So I figured in the first episode, although as of right now I can't exactly tell the distance that it took, because there's one road near me that I went down on the video that is actually closed, so, and that Google Maps actually recognizes that it's closed, so even when you're trying to find a route through there, it will not let you do that, even when you try and manipulate it. So I based it on just about as close as I could, which was about 50 miles, which took half an hour, which means in the first episode, we went an average of 100 miles an hour. Because I know last stream or last episode on this, I was mentioning about that, like what my average speed and everything would be. But I kind of went downhill for speed a little bit. Actually, yeah, I ended up getting slower, because that was actually the fastest speed. I haven't done all of them yet. I've only gotten it to Boston, which was the first destination. So the cumulative distance that we took to get from Bangor, Maine to Boston, Massachusetts for this series, which was over the first 6 episodes, was 281.8 miles, or about 282 miles, taking us 205.25 minutes. So that would be like 3 hours 25 and a quarter minutes, or 25, no, yeah, 3 hours 25 minutes 15 seconds to go 282 miles about, which would be an average of 82.38 miles an hour. Oh, and I do have a stat because I know I've mentioned, I was wondering how many times I've crossed over Interstate 95. I've done it, I think, twice so far this episode. And for the first 4 episodes, I didn't cross over 95 at all. But then the 5th episode, I crossed over twice. 6th episode, I crossed over twice. So for the first destination, or to the first destination, I crossed over 95 4 times total. And that's basically all I have for stats. I don't know what other stats to do. I could do like crossing over any interstate, I suppose. How many times I've crossed over any interstate. Or I can figure out which interstate I've crossed over the most. But I don't know. I did figure out though that later on I didn't do much for stats as far as time or distance yet for the later episodes, but I did figure out later on I've crossed over 95 about no more than 2 times in an episode, so it seems like we've crossed over more than once or more than twice, but so far from what I've gotten, I've only crossed over at most 2 times an episode. So as of right now, I've crossed 95 10 times. So we've switched sides back and forth 10 times. Now, one thing about Florida here is it is quite flat, so we're not going to have much for hills, although it looks like there's a little, oh, no, that's an overpass, or like a ramp, rather. And what is this ramp for? Nocatee Parkway. Oh, and I just noticed that we are no longer in Jacksonville, we are in St. John's. So of course we do not want to go on to there, because that's not where Route 1 goes. Route 1 stays down here, so we're on the Dixie Highway. So it's actually getting to be more highway-like because we're kind of getting away from a lot of businesses. But that's quite the house. I'm assuming that's a house. But yeah, no, anyways, like I said, we're kind of getting away from everything. So this is St. Johns County. Interesting. Is that what the county is? I'm assuming that would be the same county that Jacksonville is in. I would assume. But, of course, GeoGuessr doesn't show county lines on there. So we've got 16 miles to St. Augustine, 65 miles to Daytona. So we're not really making a lot for progress. so we actually may not make it to St. Augustine this episode. Of course, we spent a little bit of time working our way around Jacksonville this episode as well. Where are we at for time? We're at 25 minutes right now, so we've got another 5 minutes about that I'd like to try and end the episode on, or around, whichever. So I do want to thank all of you on Twitch for joining. Glad you could join me on this Wednesday afternoon. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm glad you guys could join us as well. Although you're watching basically anytime too, so I mean, anytime in the future, because of course this is technically going to be going up tomorrow as of me doing this live stream, recording this, which is Thursday. So this will be going up at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. That's typically when this goes up. And of course the Friday Night Gaming series, which is to follow this on Twitch, will be going up at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. Hence the name Friday Night Gaming. I know, very clever. I'm not the most creative person when it comes to names and stuff. I'm not wicked creative to begin with, but so we seem to be getting kind of about, although the speed limit actually is starting to go down, I suppose. So never mind. I was gonna say we seem to be out in the boondocks, but like I said, we're kind of starting to get into some areas, or some sort of area. Oh, we are actually in St. Augustine now, so never mind. Yes, St. Augustine is the boondocks. You've heard it here first. No, it really isn't. I mean, I'm sure we're probably actually gonna get through the boondocks in Florida here at some point, but that's one thing I know about US Route 1 for the most part, is, well, about US Route 1 rather, is that for the most part, you're not really out in the middle of nowhere very much. There's a lot of towns and stuff along Route 1. So when you are out in the kind of nowhere, it's not for very long, unless you're in Maine, especially northern Maine. Can we get moving, please? Thank you. Because of course, once you get to northern Maine, there's just, I mean, yeah, we have a few towns, but past Bangor, I mean, yeah, you have Holton, which is the end of 95, or the start of 95, however you want to look at it. Then we have Fort Kent, which is the very northern part of Maine, which I think US 1 ends at, or starts at, whichever you want to look at. But I mean, those towns, of course, aren't huge. I mean, let me see, Fort Kent, like how much, what's the population size for Fort Kent? Let me take a look. As we're going along here. Fort Kent, Maine, has a population of, for the 2010 census, of 4,097. So, and it is the northern terminus of US Route 1. and the ending point of the Northern Forest Canoe Trail. Huh. See, that I didn't know. And Holton, like I said, which is the northern terminus for Interstate 95, for the 2010 census, its population was 6,123. And it says here as well, it's perhaps best known for being the northern terminus of Interstate 95. And as the birthplace of Samantha Smith, a Goodwill ambassador as a child during the Cold War. Interesting. So we've got, looks like an airport over here. Fairly small airport. And I'm getting sidetracked on time. We are at 31 minutes. So I'm going to start looking for a place to stop to terminate our episode. This will be the southern terminus of this episode. Northern terminus being Jacksonville, if you want to mention it that way. Some sort of factory off to the left. I wonder if that's like a airplane factory. That's almost what it seems like, because we have the airport right there. Or maybe it's like a hangar or something. I don't know. Something to do with aircraft, probably. Let's keep going, find a good place to stop. But yeah, as I was mentioning, north of Bangor, for the most part, we have a lot of like townships. Like if you own like an actual physical map that shows like towns and stuff, like town borders on it, you'll see that north of Bangor, or ways north of Bangor though, you'll see just a bunch of squares with different townships. Like it'll be like T4R8 or something like that township. I mean, you have a whole bunch of them basically like that. Like, I think T's are like the row and R is like the column or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, we have a bunch of them like all grouped together basically. Like, probably the size of, what's the smallest state? Like Delaware? Like probably the area of our townships could probably fit most of Delaware, if not all of it. Well, probably most of it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Do I want to use that as my stopping point though? Probably not. Looks like there might be something up here that I can use to kind of stop at. Because we have like palm trees and stuff up here, so. I mean, I was hoping for better. Wait, what's going on here? Truck route 1. So 1 still goes along this way. Okay, good. I want to stay on 1. Yeah, see, now we're getting into all the businesses and everything. I mean, I probably should have, I guess, stopped back there, but we're gonna go a little bit further. We haven't done that in a while, I suppose. I mean, that's because we had really good stopping places at the 30-minute mark too, and we kind of got into St. Augustine at a bad time. do have water off to the right, but there's no good spot to kind of look over. Oh, oh, never mind. I was gonna say, what's this? Thought it was gonna be like a mini golf course or something like that, but... So I think what I'm gonna do is once we get to Orlando, I'm gonna head immediately east again to come back to Route 1, so we can take Route 1 and obviously into Key West. If we have like a clear opening somewhere over here, like, I mean, I could do this, I suppose? But, I mean, I guess that's kind of stretching it a bit. I have a good clearing over here. What about up here? Looks like the water kind of comes up to here a bit more as well. So we have like the railroad crossing up here too. I feel like it was probably better further back. So I'm gonna go back here. You know, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. And this, I don't know, I feel like it's too open. I know, look at me being picky. I have the, kind of like the wire right there as well, so cable. So you know what, I'm gonna go back to where we had the palm trees here. Was it here? Yeah, so I'm gonna use this. You have the cables there as well, but whatever. That's gonna be our stopping point for this episode. But yeah, we made it into St. Augustine. I was thinking towards the end there we were not going to, but then we did, and I'm like, oh, well, never mind. So, this is San Sebastian River. Oh, actually, it does cross over, but like I said, this is going to be the stopping point. I already decided, so. Yeah, anyways, for those of you watching on Twitch, don't go anywhere because, of course, we have more to come right after this. But for those of you watching on YouTube, once again, that has just spoken to do for this episode. Once again, if you guys could, I know I've been saying a lot. If you guys could do the Sports Sunday survey, that would be absolutely fantastic. I have a link to it down in the description below. I want to try and get at least 5 responses before Sunday, because Sunday is going to be the deadline for that, like I mentioned earlier. As of right now, I only have 1. So if we could get to 5 before we start the series the following Sunday, that would be absolutely fantastic. So that is our current goal, to get 5 for Sunday by the time I finish the survey, or put out, or finish the survey, I guess. That's the best way I can describe it, I guess. But yeah, like I said, please do that if you can. It will only take you about a minute or 2 to complete. But yeah, anyways, once again, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And of course, as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye!